What's going on, everybody? Ravi Abuvala here from Scaling with Systems. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the number one investment you can make this year. So a few weeks ago, I hosted a mastermind in the Canary Islands in Spain, and I had about 30 clients fly out, and we did a full day long mastermind. It was absolutely incredible. Talked about client acquisition, investing, money making, all of that stuff. But in one of the breaks during the mastermind, I had one of my clients who'd been with me for over a year come and sit down with me and ask me a very pointed question. And he said, "Look, Ravi, I've made a lot of money over the past few years, and I have about $250,000 liquid in my bank account right now. What do you think I should invest it in?" Now, I get this question honestly all the time, especially from my higher level clients as they start making more and more money. And before I go any further, let me just put a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a fiduciary. I am not a tax strategist. I know absolutely nothing. I just am a crazy guy that has a neon sign with a camera. So you do your own research. But I get that question all the time as far as how I'm investing my money and what I would recommend other people to invest their money. And so one of the things I've learned is that if you want somebody to learn a lesson, or you want somebody to see your point of view, have them come to that conclusion by themselves. Because I could have instantly been like, do this thing right here. And he would have probably been like, okay, and then gone out and done whatever he did. But instead, what I've learned is that if you just kind of guide them a little bit towards what you want the solution to be or what you think the solution should be, and they come up with it on their own, then they're much more likely to implement it. And I wanted what was best in my eyes for this person. So I asked them a question again. I said, okay, do you have any investments right now? Right? Because one of the things he was looking into was getting into, cryptocurrency, getting into real estate, getting into stocks, stuff like that. And so he said, yeah, I'm thinking about starting to get in multifamily units. I have a friend. He has a bunch of connections in multifamily, and I can start building my wealth that way. I said, dude, that's an awesome idea. There's a lot of benefits in real estate. I have my own real estate properties as well. But I said, let's just break it down as simple as possible. That's usually the best way to do it. So I said, what have you invested in the past? And he's like, well, really nothing. I haven't really ever invested my money in anything. And I said, well, actually you have, because you're a client of mine. So you've invested into yourself and your business to become a client of mine, because that's how you become a client of mine. And you've gotten a return from that. And he said, oh yeah. So I said, how many times have you invested in your business before? And he said, well, off the top of my head, I invested, when I first got into the quote unquote online world, I invested $9.97 in a course online. And I said, awesome. What was the return on that? And he said that he made about $10,000 a month. He went from $0 a month online to $10,000 a month from a $9.97 course. And my experience was really similar to that as well. So I was like, cool, you put $1,000 in and you got pretty much $120,000 out that year. So that's about, I think, a $12,000 return on investment from what you put into it. So $12,000 return on investment in about a year-long time frame, and also all the other benefits of learning how to make money online, traveling around the world. I mean, we were sitting on a beautiful villa in the Canary Islands, Spain. So there's a lot of other benefits. So we're just talking about money here. So I was like, cool. 12,000 return on investment in 1 year. I was like, do you know what the average real estate property will return back if you're doing like a rental property? Obviously, it varies. He said no. I said, anywhere from 10, 12, maybe up to 20% annually, with all of the headaches involved in real estate. And I could see the wheels starting to turn a little bit in his head. And I said, do you know what the average stock return on investments are? And he said, I don't know. And I said, well, historically, for the past pretty much 100 years in the S&P 500, it's about anywhere from 6 to 9%, depending if you count for inflation and a few other things as well. Annually, 6 to 9%. And I said, how much did you make from it? And what did we say the return on investment was? He said 12,000% return on investment a year. And so he starts to catch on a little bit, but that's not enough, right? Because one time, one investment, that's not going to be, you can do that with anything. That's like if you bought into Bitcoin back when it was $3,000. So I said, okay, let's move forward. How much did you invest into my program? And he told me the dollar amount. And I said, great. And how much, what is been the return? What have you gotten back? And he said his business now is doing about $50,000 a month, or about $600,000 a year. So we did a little bit of math, and we learned that he got about an 8,000% return on investment in a year, investing once again back into himself and back into his business. And I said, what was stocks? 6 to 9%. What was real estate? 8 to 20%, depending on how much you invest inside of it. What was crypto? Depending on where you are, could be 50%, could be 1%. You could lose all your money. And now it was when it kind of started clicking. And he said, okay, so I should continue to invest in more coaching and more masterminds. That's what I do. And I said, sure, that might be what it is. Obviously, these have been giving you astronomical returns every single time you've done it. But there's things that people aren't thinking about investing in when it comes to themselves or the business. So not only coaching programs, I'm obviously a big fan of it, and helping people accelerate their growth. Like, I build and write sales funnels and advertising campaigns for my clients so they can acquire customers on autopilot. But I was like, let's talk about some other areas you can do it. Let's talk about right now, what's your biggest bottleneck in your business? And he runs an e-commerce advertising agency. And he told me that the biggest bottleneck is fulfillment. I mean, I'm like, every time we have to sign a client, I have to stop everything I'm doing and spend all of my time fulfilling that client. And I was like, okay, what if we found somebody for $3,000, $5,000 a month, like a $60,000 a year salary person who's able to take over all of the fulfillment from you, and you can then focus more on marketing and sales. So not only could you take on more clients, but then you could spend more energy acquiring more clients. So you put $60,000 a year into that person, and let's say because you're able to get back 4 or 5 hours a day minimum, you easily double your business over the next 12 months, which is obviously super easy to do. So $60,000 in, and that would turn his business from a $600,000 a year business into a $1.2 million a year business, right? Because he invested into an employee. So what is the lesson here, right? What should you take away from this video? You should take away from this video is take a really hard look. Everybody online is trying to sell you courses on real estate and stocks and crypto and buy this and buy that. But in reality, at least in my personal experience, I have always bet on myself, because I can't control the stock market. I can't control real estate. I can't control tenants, termites, toilets, cryptocurrency. I can't pay attention to any of that stuff. But what I can bet on is myself. And in the very beginning, that first like $997 or $5,000 or $10,000 you invest into yourself, into a coaching program or a business startup or whatever else it is probably the most scariest money that you'll ever invest in your life. Because technically speaking, crypto and real estate and stocks have a historical better return on investment than you do at that point. But once you get past that point, take a second and take stock, no pun intended, about where you're at and what your money, time, and capital, but what your money and time can be best spent on doing. And likely, it's not going to be going into real estate. It's not going to be going into stock. I have another video where I talked about how I lost $500,000 in one day. And that was because I was trying to day trade in crypto, and the crypto market biptoed, and I lost all of my money with it. Not all of my money, but $500,000. And from that moment on, I stopped day trading crypto, not only because I lost the money, but because I was spending so much time and energy keeping an eye on the market, trying to research stuff, that I was no longer putting the time and energy into my business, which has made me 8 figures over the past few years, right? And here I am trying to make a few $100,000 guessing, essentially, what I think day trading is just essentially a guess. I don't, you can prove me otherwise. But anyway, so the moral of the story is that take a risk on yourself, invest in yourself if you believe in yourself. And then once you do, start going back and looking at, okay, where else can I invest this money back into my business, don't even look at it as your business. Look at it as a third-party objective into this investment that has been making me a massive return on investment. And the final things I'll talk about is there are plenty of my clients inside Scaling with Systems where we actually help them build a client acquisition machine where I'll write their sales letter and we'll create their advertising campaigns, where literally we're handing Facebook or YouTube $1, and within 4 to 7 days, they're getting back like $5 to $10 back because they're acquiring new customers. So if you're not in this world, what that means is that, you pay, just for easy numbers, let's say $100 for 10 people to speak to your sales guys. And then your sales guys close 2 of those 10 people. And so you paid $100 for essentially 2 closes, and each of those closes is worth, let's say, $1,000. So you paid $100 for $2,000 back. And that happens all of the time. So that's a 4-day, 7-day, like 1,000+% return on your investment. And that's why I really truly believe that the biggest wealth builders, it's not real estate, it's business. And then at some point, you will have your business spinning off. And this is what I told gentlemen I was talking about at my mastermind. You'll have your business spinning off so much cash like I do right now. I couldn't just take $1 million and just throw it inside of my company right now. It would be impossible. Like it would explode the company. There's no way to do it. I couldn't just spend $1 million in ads or $1 million in hires or $1 million in coaching programs. So at that point, you have so much excess capital that then it starts making sense to start looking into, investments or tax strategy. Like, I've learned more about tax strategies in the past 6 months than I thought I would ever learn in my entire lifetime. And I now know more than I'd probably say 95% of people in the United States. And I'm happy that I did that. But the only reason I'm doing that is because I have enough money for it to start mattering. In the very beginning, stop trying to do tax strategies, stop trying to do investing, just focus on that thing and keep on building up to the point that, then you can figure out the tax strategy that can maybe save you $500,000, then trying to figure out the tax strategy that'll save you $10,000. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you guys understand the method behind this, the kind of the lesson that I'm talking about here. If you guys got value out of it, please smash the like button, hit subscribe. If you guys have additional thoughts on investing, if you think I'm right or wrong, just take 2 seconds to comment down in the comments and let me know what you're thinking. And also, if you're looking of starting a business this year or even scaling your current business, I have 2 brand new free trainings at the top of the description down below that you can click and get access to. I will see you guys in the next video.